So last year at the Housing Works Conference, just 8 weeks into the job, Mayor Watson came here and he broke major news. He announced that his top Austin artists were Gary Clark Jr. and Gina Chavez, and that his favorite taco joint was Julio's at 43rd and Duval. We're expecting more major announcements today, Mayor. The press is in the room. Nothing brings people together like good music and good food, and the same can be said about good leadership. And our city is fortunate to have Kirk Watson at the helm. So many of us in this room have been privileged to work with the mayor and his team on some of our city's toughest issues: affordability, transportation, public safety, and homelessness. Since his first 2 terms as mayor, and then through 13 years in the state senate, and now back at City Hall, Mayor Watson has been thinking about some of the biggest systems and programs that impact people in Austin, the very kind of work that we do, and how we can make them better and fairer and more compassionate. All of us in this room are on the front lines of affordability and income inequality, in education and healthcare and transportation disparities, and so much more. We are fortunate to have a friend and a leader in Kirk Watson who's committed to driving Austin towards greater equality, resilience, and adaptability. Mayor, we're honored to have you here kicking off this year's Housing Works Conference, and I hope all of you will join me in warmly welcoming our Mayor, Kirk Watson.
Well, that was very nice, and I appreciate that. And for some reason, I feel the urge to sing "Happy Birthday" to Avez, but I'll avoid that. Actually, he's one of my appointees to the Planning Commission, and yes, and somebody I'm very proud of and learn from all the time. So it's really great to say "Happy Birthday." I should have done that 3 days ago, but. I want to also say thank you to everybody that's here, but Housing Works for allowing me to kind of kick off this summit. As was pointed out in that introduction, the work you're doing is something that is very, very important to me, and it's kind of the soul of a lot of what we're doing right now at City Hall. So I'm very thrilled to be with so many folks who are committed to that concept, and that is the concept of making, and the way I say it, the way I've been talking about it, is how do we make Austin a complete city? And by that I mean a city where everyone can create a life. The other day, I was reading a national magazine article. It was in the Atlantic, and I don't know whether you've seen that, but you need to look that up, because the Atlantic, the article, the lead, the way the author started it was with this line: if you want to understand America's strange relationship with housing in the 21st century, look at Austin, where no matter what happens to prices, someone's always claiming the sky is falling. So as your mayor, I am going to proclaim, yes, Chicken Little is alive and well in Austin, Texas. But the writer goes on and he drops an additional line and some good news in that. He says, Austin has defied the narrative that skyrocketing housing costs are a problem from hell that people just have to accept. The miracle of Austin is helpful to recognize because it restores clarity to a simple truth. Houses are essential, but they are not magical. The normal rules of supply and demand apply. Perhaps more blue cities and states should make a point of applying those rules and build more damn houses. That's right. Well, friends, I'm working along with this city council, and by the way, you should be very proud if you care about housing and care about creating homes and more damn homes, then one of the things that you ought to be proud of is that you have, when somebody stands up here and starts introducing the participants in this summit, the number of representatives of your city council that get pointed out. We're working as a team, and I am very proud that I and this city council are doing everything we can to create the opportunity for you and others to build more damn houses and all kinds of housing, all kinds of housing. We also have a number of people from the City of Austin's professional staff in this room who care deeply about this. They are public servants, because they care so deeply about what it is that you're doing. And I'm very proud of them and want to say thank you to them as well. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. And I know that ain't my water, but my allergies are kicking my ass this year. And I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm so high on drugs right now. That's not true. But I am dried out. So let's talk a little bit about what we're doing. I want to run through a few things. We're updating our land development code to allow for more housing and eliminate barriers to affordability. That's going on all the time. We're addressing our notoriously inefficient development review process so that we get out of our own way and we make it where people can build more and get more on the ground, again, so that supply and demand play a role. We've saved the affordable housing programs that were threatened by a recent court ruling and created a comprehensive alternative solution. We're investing in 107 acres near the light rail line on Riverside Drive that will provide an incredible opportunity for affordable and workforce housing. We're on track to deliver more than 1,000 permanent supportive housing units by the end of 2026, while also creating more opportunities for emergency shelter for our unhoused neighbors. Folks, from the time I was here last year until I'm standing here today, a lot has changed in Austin, Texas, and I'm very proud of that. After so many fits and starts, actually, in my view, after the city becoming stagnated on how we were going to get to more attainable and more affordable housing, that this council is now laying the foundation for a future that I believe will make Austin open, vibrant, and an inviting community. But let me pause and say that future is not a given. We know people who have fought for us to be able to get here, and a part of the reason for all of the fits and starts and stagnation. We also know there are some pretty powerful forces out there trying to stop our progress. Look no further than the persistent attacks on Austin's light rail program. The voters of Austin spoke loud and clear in 2020 when they approved a property tax increase to pay for that light rail system. But some folks seem to believe that voters must have been bamboozled or stupid to invest in such a thing. And so they've tried to kill light rail in the Texas legislature. They made a big effort to kill it last year. Now, I will tell you, we stopped them then. Frankly, I was new back in the office and spent most of my time at the legislature fighting so that we could save that light rail program. Now, they filed a lawsuit and they have a powerful ally in the Attorney General of Texas. And that's why we've taken our own legal action and asked a court to affirm the bond financing for Austin Light Rail. And I'm confident that if the court relies on the facts and the law, we'll be all okay. But that's a big if. You know that light rail is essential to realizing our community's priorities for housing and climate, as well as improving our mobility. And while some in our community are trying to tear it apart, I continue and will continue to do everything I can to assure that our voter-approved investment in this generational project is on firm footing for generations to come. Thank you. Some of you may have heard me tell the story of being at a gala one night, and the person that was seated next to me got up to go say hi to somebody or go get a drink or something else, and a guy about my age plopped himself right down next to me, uninvited. I knew him and know who he is, and so it wasn't that unusual until he turned to me in a very rude way. In fact, you would have thought he was at a city council meeting in public communication. He turned to me and in a rude way, he said, I'm for you, but I don't like this light rail system. And I said, that's okay. We ain't building it for you. And his response was, well, why do you say that? And I said, we're building it for your granddaughter. And and he said, well, can't we save dirties? And I said, well, actually, we're building it for your granddaughter so you won't have to say when she's 25 years old and she asks you, Granddaddy, why do we not have a light rail system like every other major international city? You won't have to say, well, it's because we saved her a really great hamburger joint. And she'll say, oh, well, in that case, let's go get a hamburger. And you'll have to say to her, oh, well, it closed on its own about 5 years later. The point being, this is generational. This is so that our children and our grandchildren can live in an affordable city that cares about climate and mobility. Recently, I was with a group of students at UT, and they wanted to talk very seriously about whether they were going to have a future in Austin. And when I was talking to them, I'm telling you, heads nodded and fingers snapped in agreement when I brought up the concept of intergenerational equity and how we need to ensure that their generation has the same opportunities to create a life here as mine did. Austin is Austin, in large part because we've always had a fountain of youth. That fountain of youth has been fed by Houston-Tillotson University, Concordia, St. Ed's, and that little public university college we got down there called the University of Texas at Austin. Every year, year in and year out, thousands of new people come into town to attend those schools. They're young, they're vibrant, they're vital, they're looking to the future. They've got new thoughts, new ideas, new music, new culture. In Austin, they've always been able to discover who they want to be, embrace who they really are, start becoming who they will be. And year after year, for decades, those new young people come to Austin and then they say, I'm staying. Or they say, I'm never going to want to leave. They stayed and Austin changed as it moved into the future. The future those young people were building. That's how Austin became and remained Austin. It's embracing the new stuff. The accepted change was part of the DNA of this town. So, you may not know. Well, I bet you do. Let's do a test. The number one t-shirt and bumper sticker in this town for a long time has not been what it ought to be. Kirk Watson for Austin mayor. The number one t-shirt and bumper sticker in this town has been Keep Austin Weird, right? Okay, y'all pass. Here's the thing. What does that mean? To me, what it has always meant is how do we keep Austin, Austin? Of course, weird is in the eye of the beholder, and I don't know every way to keep Austin, Austin. But I do know that our distinctly Austin vibe will be gone if only a select few of people can enjoy everything Austin has to offer. And by the way, Austin won't have as much to offer if only a select few can enjoy it. Thank you. Our openness to the new, our openness to what might be weird has defined us. That openness to embracing the new, different, whatever is what makes us Austin. Being a place that is open for everyone is what's defined us. It's a feature, not a flaw. Frankly, the biggest, most damaging change we could allow would be to lose the ability to have that youthful thinking and energy. And I keep rolling back to when Liz and I got here in 1981. And Austin was a town of about 350,000 people. Liz and I were fresh out of school, and we didn't have any money. But we were able to cobble together enough money so that we could get into some housing, and then ultimately cobble together a little bit more so that we were able to buy our first house. That's what helped keep us in Austin. The younger folks, whether they grew up here or whether they've just arrived to go to one of those universities or to take a job or to do whatever they're wanting to do, they are clearly telling us what we need to do so that they can make their lives in Austin. And what they need is housing. Yeah, we certainly need more affordable housing, and we're working on that, particularly deeply affordable housing. But we also just need more places for folks to live. Next week, we're going to begin the ridiculously complicated process of amending the Land Development Code to bring compatibility standards in line with our peer cities. According to our staff analysis, reducing compatibility standards to 75 feet will increase our unit capacity by 63,000 units. To put that number in context, the 10-year strategic housing blueprint sets a goal of producing a total of 135,000 housing units. So you talk about making progress. We're really working to make progress. In addition, we'll be considering the equitable transit-oriented development zoning overlay to foster transit-supportive density along the light rail corridor, as well as lowering the minimum lot size for single units. Folks, these land use changes are essential to the future of Austin, and we need you to show up and speak up. I refuse, at this point in my life and career, I refuse to have spent a really wonderful, great lifetime in this special place I call home, only to be part of the first generation that doesn't leave capacity for the next generation to start and enjoy a really great, wonderful lifetime in Austin. My generation was provided extra capacity by the generations that came before us. We had excess capacity in transportation, in green space, in clean air, and the ability to find housing that we could afford. And Austin's been so successful that a whole lot of people want to live here. They want to stay here. They want to move here. And I'll fight efforts that prevent having the capacity we and they need. I will fight efforts to create or allow for intergenerational inequity, where one generation says to the next, I got mine, you get yours, sucker. That is not a healthy future. That is not Austin. You are working to keep Austin, Austin, and I'm beside you. God bless you, and thank you for giving me that opportunity.